what you would see, but I would say movement is everybody's right. So I think it's a great thing for all of us.
Is it more a younger generation, or are you also seeing some older people getting into it?
I think we are a premium product, and because we're made in the USA, we're actually made within 500 miles of Santa Barbara. My goal was to be able to walk a factory line and read to my son at night. And so having that as a premium product, we're predisposed towards a higher demographic for sure. But when you walk into Google and see our product, it's across the board. It's anybody that's stuck.
We're talking with Joel Heath. He's the founder, CEO, president of Company in Motion, the makers of Fluidstance. And so I just want to take you backwards just a little bit, and then we'll quickly talk about an event that's coming up on Saturday. Yeah. You were at Deckers for a while. I know you were in charge of the Teva brand.
I was brand president of Teva.
Exciting times for Deckers. I mean, it still is.
For sure.
But so how did you end up there, and how did that help you into this next move?
My first company was untraditional, it was called, and we helped companies with their athlete event and charitable strategies around the adventure space. So we helped Volkswagen launch the Touareg. We helped Thule with the Thule racks with some of their campaigns. And Deckers was a client of ours. Gosh, I started working with them in 1996, and at the time, Adam Druckman, who's still at Deckers, I don't know if you know Adam, but he came to me and said, hey, we're doing about 100 events a year, but we keep seeing the same people just in different cities. Is there a concept you could come up with? And we invented a concept called the Mountain Games, which is now the largest outdoor event.
What is it?
It's in June. It's in Vail, Colorado. It's the largest outdoor adventure event in the country, or in the world, excuse me. Teva is no longer a sponsor. It's the GoPro Mountain Games at this point. But it just became this amazing thing, and I had the opportunity to sell that in 2008. And Deckers was interested in if we were willing to come inside. And so I'd always been an outsider. I'd always been an entrepreneur. And it was a unique opportunity.
What did you learn there?
Publicly traded companies, there's so much to learn. It was a mini education, but at the same time, it lacked that sense of intimacy where you're making decisions for the long term versus the shareholder, right? And I understand, a publicly traded company is really important for the world, but I also, in my heart of hearts, want to make sure that we're making change in the world, not just selling more stuff.
That's great. Now, if you're in Santa Barbara, you can stop by an Impact Hub to try out your board. But if you're not in Santa Barbara, what do I do?
Yeah, so we have a 30-day demo program, no risk, so we'll ship it out to you. If you don't like
fantastic.
It, send it back to me.
Okay, great.
Maybe you'll have a chance on Saturday, because real quickly, you've got an event going on Saturday. Where? And tell us about it.
Interesting part of our company, we're part of 1%, which is not 1% for the planet. It's pledged 1%. So we've given 1% of the equity of our company to charity. We also do 1% of all sales, not net sales, gross sales to charity, and then 1% of our employees' time. And so we were working on an event for an 80s ski party to bring a little bit of my Colorado lifestyle to Santa Barbara. And it was planned for the 27th, but when all the mudslide and all the fires started to shake out, we changed who the beneficiary would be to victims of the mudslide. So we're doing random acts of kindness. And if you come to the event, you can sign a card and tell us who you would like to give a random act of kindness to from the benefits of the event. And then we'll distribute next week those funds via a nonprofit to make sure.
That's a great idea.
I love that. And Jane grew up in Canada. And I think I'm just not going to date her, but I'm saying she probably has some 80s ski outfits, right?
Got some good
Not
neon?
Anymore. When I left Canada, I left everything behind that had anything to do with the cold. I have no desire to ever ski again or see ice.
It's interesting. Santa Barbara culture has a lot of similarity to mountain towns. And so I think an 80s ski party will fit here perfectly. And hopefully this is an annual event.
Especially since it's 65, 70 degrees
exactly.
outside. That's the time to do it.
Great idea. We'll have another reminder in our event segment at the end of the show. Joel Heath with Fluidstance. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. You are listening to Co-Work Radio. You can follow us on social media, listen to episodes and interviews on coworkradio.com, iTunes, iHeart, and we'll be right back after this.
Koto Group. We are a boutique property management firm located here in the Central Coast. We are small enough to prioritize your business and large enough to match the right tenants with your property. Koto Group. We work for you 24/7 with around-the-clock marketing and emergency service. At Koto Group, we use leading-edge software, making us efficient and cost-effective. Koto Group. Property management for the 21st century.
Hi, I'm Dan Farrick, Managing Director of the Impact Hub Santa Barbara. Come visit us and find out why co-working spaces are booming. Our 2 locations in the Funk Zone and downtown Santa Barbara offer private offices, permanent desks, and a variety of co-working memberships starting as low as $60 a month. Mention Co-work Radio when you book our tour, and we'll give you 10% off your first 6 months of membership. Join a community where you can live and work smart. Go to ImpactHubSB.com or call 284-0078 to find out more.
What's that?
This? The newest online business banking around.
Can you initiate wires and approve transfers?
Yes.
Pay bills?
Check.
Cash management?
Of course.
All business, all online, all on your phone.
You bet. My computer, too. It's Montecito Bank and Trust's new business online banking. It works as hard as I do.
Huh. Montecito Bank and Trust.
You got it. Montecito Bank and Trust. Behind every great community is a great bank. Montecito.bank. Member FDIC.
Hi, it's Catherine Raymock. Are you buying or selling a home? See Compass Realtor Terry Ryken. I went to Terry because of his reputation and experience, but was quickly taken by his genuine enthusiasm. It's that combination that truly sets him apart. Terry specializes in properties in Montecito, Hope Ranch, Santa Barbara, and Santa Ynez Valley, and has 39 years of experience as an agent and broker. There are so many realtors to choose from, but only one Terry Ryken. Find out for yourself. Google search Terry Ryken.
Welcome to Co-Work Radio. I'm Jane Walker-Wood.
And I'm Catherine Raymock.
And we have in the studio with us JP James Knapp. And JP founded Koto Group, which is a property management firm here in Santa Barbara, specializing in student housing on the Central Coast. But now he also manages some luxury residential. How you doing, JP?
Great. How are you doing, Jane?
Good. I'm good. I want to ask the hard questions.
All right, let's get into it.
Fire away.
If I'm looking for a property manager, because I was Googling earlier today, and there are a lot to choose from, why Koto?
You know, it's really difficult to find a property manager. I mean, I think that's something we hear a lot from various property owners and investors. And, it really comes down to personal relationship and having aligned values. We're definitely not the right property manager for everyone, but, for people who really want to maintain properties and treat tenants well and, have a great product, we're definitely someone to talk to.
Are most of the other property managers, are they based here like you are, or are some of them out of town and managing it from a distance?
Santa Barbara is a very local market for the professional property management companies. So, yeah, I would say most people are in town. There's definitely a lot of individual owners who might be out of town. But I would say, Santa Barbara is kind of a unique market that it's a very local community, and that definitely shows in the property management business.
There is certainly your share of student housing here. We have so many colleges. And was that sort of the niche you began with? Or
Yeah, that's where we that's where we started out. And, I love student housing. It's really fun to be the first landlord for most people and the first experience they have going into renting. We've also expanded to UC Riverside and Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. So, yeah, it's just, students are a lot of fun. It's fun to be around students and, answering the questions.
How do you keep them under control and keep the place from being messed up? Because not all students are that great tenants.
We've found that having a higher end product, you typically get better residents, and students just kind of want to be left alone, and they're better than most people think.
So to be honest about this question, are your checks coming from, or payments, checks, I'm so antiquated now, are your payments coming from the students in those cases themselves or their parents? What's the...
Both. We definitely have a lot of students who are using financial aid to pay their rent, and, so we'll get emails, hey, my financial aid's coming in 2 weeks late, no problem. So it's a mix. UCSB definitely has an affluent parent base, so it's a lot of parents. But, there's plenty of people working their way, sharing bedrooms, and
now, I hear it's a super competitive market right now if I'm trying to find a place to rent. So if I'm a tenant looking for a place, can you give me some advice on how I should fill out my application and what I should and not say?
I would just be very upfront. A lot of people kind of send a little blurb about themselves, and I think that really helps, and just explain kind of who they are and what they're looking for. And I think being honest is the main thing, because you want to start off on the right foot with the landlord.
And credit report, how weighty is that?
I would say very, very weighted. Especially in a competitive market, if your credit's not where it should be, you're going to be having a tough time getting a rental.
So probably a good idea to work on your credit, because I know there's ways that you can.
For sure. Or finding
Make
someone to
your credit
co-sign with you. Maybe a friend, family, someone can co-sign, and that can help them.
And what about animals? I noticed a lot of your places take pets. How do you? And again, some pets are great, like mine, who's here right today, my dog.
Pax is great.
But others aren't so great. So how do you screen that? Do you ask to meet the pet?
We have a pet policy, but now with the service animal thing, we've just decided to pretty much allow pets everywhere because, we don't like to get into whether or not someone should have an animal or not have an animal, and it's kind of a gray area in California law, so we just take
Well,
the
now
side
people
of-
have service pigs. I saw one online.
Oh, you
like
can
a
have-
small service pig.
Well, Delta just stopped, they just started rules to change allowing service animals on the planes because the government just said, anything goes.
And so the weirdest animal that you've ever had on one of your properties is?
I think like a boa constrictor or something.
Really?
Yeah.
I just real quickly want to get back to this question about the credit, and only because I'm a mom. So I should have known better. But, my son, who's 22, I thought he was actually doing very well because he didn't have any debt. He never had credit cards.
Yeah.
And then he found himself moving out to Austin, and he couldn't find a place because he had no credit.
Had no credit,
Yeah. So,
getting a credit card, I think, at the start of college is one of the best things that you can do. And even having your parents open a credit card when you're younger in your name is really a big help.
But then how do you keep them from, you have to set a limit.
Set a limit, I think, yeah. And I mean, for the rest of your life, you're going to have to manage your finances. So what better time to learn when you have a low credit limit and you can't make a life-altering mistake?
now you're a parental expert on top of everything
and now,
else.
But now you, there you go, pretty soon. And now I see you're breaking out into residential properties. You have a place in Montecito for rent that's quite pricey.
Yeah, we a little bit into
may or
the
may not be
residential.
accessible. I don't
may
know.
or may, yeah, I think as of noon today it is. But
good.
a little bit in the residential side. So we just kind of, as opportunities come up, we dabble in different things.
So what made you want to start your company, Koto Group, as opposed to joining another property management firm?
I sort of had a unique opportunity come up in 2012 to get started, and kind of got my feet wet in it and really found that I loved it and kind of grew from there. It's one of those things where I had no idea I'd be going down this route, but really just a great chance.
And how have you grown? You were a one-man operation to begin with?
Yeah, one-man operation. I think we have 6 people working with us now. And it's just a lot of fun. It's really fun to provide a great service to people.
Now you're more involved in helping even a person find a building to buy. You're also very involved in the design because I've seen you've remodeled a lot of these apartments. A lot of property managers, you give them something that's already done and they manage it.
Yeah, we love that side of it. I would want to live in any apartment that we renovate. There's little touches that just require a tiny bit of thought that make a huge difference for people living there. And so, that's really important to me. I love landscaping. I think that makes a big difference on people's quality of life. And
give us an example of what adds to rent value, because I think somebody told me like a vanity mirror or for a woman, something simple like that adds value. What are some
dimmer switches people love,
switches.
vanity mirrors, hardwood floors or manufactured flooring, not carpet. Granite countertops are a big thing people love. And then outdoor space is one of the number one things that residents request, having some sort of nice communal area. In Santa Barbara, we don't have very many buildings with gym facilities, but that's the top amenity that people really ask for.
Really? Even with all the gyms you can go to?
I think it's kind of a mental thing. They think they're going to go work out or envision themselves doing it, and they don't get used very often, but people want to believe that they're doing it.
I actually disagree because I have my exercise bike at home, and I love it because I can work out in my pajamas, basically.
Yeah.
You're amazing. Every single day she works at it. What, 4:15 in the morning? Catherine's
like
on
that.
her
Oh, my gosh.
on her bike. It's
you
crazy.
have obviously always loved design, and in school, did you study the business or the design aspect of this?
Neither. I studied history.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so neither. There's Japanese history, so
Yeah,
there's
I
a
think
design.
you speak some Japanese, don't you?
No, just Spanish. So none of it really adds up. It's all a jumble.
Does speaking Spanish help in this business?
Oh, definitely. That's, it definitely helps around here.
So I can see where you would be able to easily manage these properties and do that very well from here in Santa Barbara with your properties here locally, but you've expanded and you're doing Riverside, San Luis Obispo as well. How does that work for you? Do you actually find yourself traveling to those areas or you do it remotely?
Yeah, traveling to those areas, and we have, teams on the ground in those areas. So, we always have someone who's local in the market, and then, just traveling around and keeping an eye on everything.
When you